Hello, my fellow Ghoul Renegade, and welcome back to a brand new video of Ghoulish Reacts. And today we are back for a final Dr. Nowhere reaction, or at least until he releases a brand new video. For today's video, we are going to be watching the Oddity Compendium by Dr. Nowhere. Now, this is his most latest video. It's called Instance 1, so assuming that there is going to be more videos later down the line about the Oddity Compendium. But, as it has been tradition on Ghoulish React so far, let us go and roll that Dr. Nowhere intro, and let us get into the strange world of the Oddity Compendium.
Welcome to Dr. Nowhere's Office of Wonders. We are certain that you will enjoy your stay.
Okay, we are back. Now let us get into the Oddity Compendium, Instance 1. Oh, there's our boy.
Dr. Nowhere's Office of Wonders presents the Oddity Compendium, a beginner's anomaly education program.
Okay.
Welcome to the Oddity Compendium.
Alright.
Today, we will be learning about many wonderful and strange oddities that exist inside of, outside of, and around your universe.
Okay.
These strange phenomena can range anywhere from life forms, products, and organizations to even events and anomalous time periods.
I like those little diagrams that Dr. Nowhere showed, just right that minute there. It reminded me a lot of another analog horror series that reminds me also a lot of Gemini Home Entertainment, called Vita Carnis. There's been a lot of YouTubers who've reacted to Vita Carnis, and I know that is certainly one on my list to watch, because I've heard it is really, really good. It's really creepy as well. Someone also suggested to me Greylock as well. And also Radar from Lyra Horrors, who is one of the friends of Postra. So we got a bunch of other series to watch. I mean, this is not the end for series and all that. But that reminded me a lot of Vita Carnis, even though I hadn't watched the thing in full. It just reminded me of that.
Important. The following information has been acquired from realities that may be separate from the one you are currently residing in.
Okay.
Please be aware that knowledge or comprehension of incompatible information may result in a conscious reality fracture.
Conscious reality fracture. Conscious reality CR fracture is an event that may occur when an individual perceives material that originates from incompatible reality. Symptoms include migraines, excessive bouts of deja vu, instant death, and more. Oh, jeez. Installment number 1, Faux Beds, a land of forgotten faces and geometric knowledge beyond belief. Okay. Faux beds, they say. What will we learn today? 1. Your own bed may be harboring hunger for your flesh. Sleep with a cold fan on if possible. If you ever walk downstairs one morning and your family is gone, interacting with the headless corpses that remain in their steads should be avoided. Non-existent is a contagious disease. Okay. If you're out in the middle of nowhere and you get a rush of brilliant ideas, turn back immediately. Enlightenment is a drug and withdrawals can kill. Okay. Oddity 1, Flesh Beds, Populus cultic, Populus what? Colcita, category, parasite.
Flesh beds or mattress folk are a species of parasitic subhuman that highly resemble bedding mattresses. The body of a dormant flesh bed appears identical to a standard mattress. However, slicing the thin sheet-like skin reveals many soft organs, limb-like appendages, and a humanoid head which hides beneath the skin. Wow. They were first discovered in the late 1960s when a mattress company was surveying excess storage. Upon finding many seemingly pristine mattresses that had not been sold, they gave them away to thrift shops and people in need. The people who received the mattress folk initially had no issues with faux beds. It wasn't until the air began to warm up that these beds awoke from their uneventful hibernations.
Ooh.
The first reported victim was 19-year-old Alice Digere. She had been sleeping on a flesh bed for roughly 6 months before her sudden disappearance. After noticing the stench of
6 months? Okay, so the flesh beds were discovered when a mattress company went out of business, and they were just left in storage. With seeming them being nothing wrong, seemingly nothing was wrong with them, and so they gave them away. Huh. I wonder if the company that went out of business knew that the mattresses were monsters. Probably not, but you never know.
Sulfur and rot originating from her bed. Her family called authorities, and the inside of the mattress revealed a feasting parasite, several hundred human bones, and a half-digested Alice.
Ooh.
The method in which mattress folk sustain themselves is by waiting for the body heat of a host to wake them from their dormant state. Kind of like an egg, but not nearly as tasty.
Oh.
After they wake, they slowly unfold themselves from their soft mattress-like bodies. This process is very gradual and happens underneath its body or on its side so as not to be detected.
Ooh.
After roughly a month of this process and on a night 17 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, its head and arms fully emerge and pull the sleeping host into its body, where prey is slowly digested.
Whoa. A feast fit for a king. Wow.
Not much is known about how these sleeping beauties came about, but it is theorized that since they are subhuman, they were once a branch of Homo sapiens that merged with a mycelial network many years ago.
Okay, that's interesting. A mycelial network. What he's talking about there is in relation to fungus. And you learn a lot about fungi and all that stuff in science class, and fungus rely on a mycelial network. It's kind of like a hive mind. So like when something happens to one, the signal goes to all of them at once, and that's what makes fungus very dangerous, especially the ones that are infectious and they can spread. There's a lot of science based around fungus, and it's one of the main things that makes The Last of Us, the video game, very, very popular, because that whole game is based around fungal zombie-like infection. If fungus decided to infect humans, what would happen? There is actually a lot of really good science in that game, and it's all based on like real world research of fungus. But so far no fungus has ever infected a person to the point of taking over and controlling it, essentially.
Autopsies of flesh and eggs digestive systems have revealed DNA samples from thousands of different people in each instance, some even tracing to people born during the 1600s.
Dang, that's a long
Another
time.
odd thing to note is that the mattress folk themselves contain DNA belonging to humans as well. One instance shared DNA in a blood type with Napoleon Bonaparte, leader of the French Republic during the time that the mattress folk were assumed to have come into existence. All in all,
That's hilarious. Napoleon, he didn't die in a war. He got eaten by the mattress people. That's... Man, what are they teaching us in history? It only took Dr. Nowhere to tell me that fact.
might be a good idea to throw out that mattress that feels just a bit too warm lately. You might be sharing it with something unwanted. Good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bed bite.
Don't let the bed bite. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Oddity 2, Headless Macrocosm. Mundum Syncopita. Category: Pseudo-location disease. Ooh, is this kind of like a deep root disease from Gemini?
The headless macrocosm is a sub-reality nearly identical to Earth's save, for the fact instead of humans, tail-headless corpses remain in their stead.
Wow.
These corpses, though technically dead, do weakly breathe through the holes in their necks.
Wow.
Their hearts have also been observed to begin convulsing at seemingly random intervals. These beings are identical in appearance to one another aside from physical dimensions, which can vary severely between each corpse. The headless sub-people dwelling in this pocket reality have been observed changing their behavior when humans have physically interacted with them, and apparently gain a level of awareness and vitality when such events occur. There are approximately 2,393 living humans residing in this reality, all from parallel Earth. Every single resident recounts waking up in the headless macrocosm after falling asleep under strange circumstances back in their home realities. No one back in their own parallel homes remembers their faces or identities, which leads to the belief that this place could be a form of anti-reality. A waste compartment of the universe used for aspects of reality that are useless or harmful to existential fabric. The humans that live in the headless macrocosm are assumed to be taking shelter in abandoned structures and banding together to search for plant-based food during the warmer times. Fun fact. Humans have coined multiple terms and nicknames for these headless corpses, such as stumpies, cranes, and ichabodies. Despite this sub-reality being detached from main reality, an incident took place which created a temporary tier between the two.
Oh, really?
A man residing in the headless macrocosm was walking through a field with a small house in the center. Upon reaching the house, the man unintentionally brushed up against one of the breathing bodies. This body, just before motionless aside from the labored convulsions, sprang to life and removed the head of the man.
Ooh.
It then proceeded to attach the severed head to the stump of its own neck.
Oh!
The man's name was Michael
Tedford. Wow.
After the corpse had placed Michael's head where its own should be, an event occurred back on Earth in the year 2061 that resulted in governmental intervention. A family's call to the authorities described an impossibly tall naked figure appearing in their backyard. The presence of this oddity was highly distressing to the family, and they remained inside their home until the situation was resolved.
Okay.
The following photograph depicts this figure they spoke of. Michael Tedford's rotting head is affixed atop its frail neck. Shortly after the photo was taken, what was left of Tedford's existence was removed from the premises and taken to an upscale anomaly testing site. Apparently, this corpse was attempting to quite literally become Tedford by reaching off.
Oh, so like, it uses the heads to travel through realities, and it was trying to become him physically, like take his identity for real. Wow.
Of his existence. These breathing bodies appear to be in a constant state of yearning to reconnect with the roots of reality again, as they have been taken a hold of by a dangerous and contagious disease. This disease appears to be non-existence itself. It can affect anyone on Earth at any time, and once it takes hold, the headless macrocosm deems you valid for residence within its endless meadows, filled with fellow patients. But don't worry, it's a rare diagnosis. Another fun fact. Occasionally, crude man-made structures will form seemingly out of nowhere in order to correspond with the structures on parallel Earth. As mentioned earlier, the headless macrocosm itself functions like a digestive tract of the universe, and these structures may be antibodies attempting to fight off the virus of non-existence. Now then, check your head. Screwed on tight. Great, because you might want to hang on tight to it for this next one.
Wow. Okay. That one was a little bit creepier than the first one. But very interesting. Interesting as well. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's see. Oddity 3, Obelisks of Enlightenment, Illustrato Geometrica. Category, Enigmatic Divinity. Alright.
The Obelisks of Enlightenment are a collective of monolithic beings that are currently residing in different remote locations across the world.
Well, they look
Also
weird.
known as the Fathers of True North, they appear in groups of 1 to 8 and stand anywhere from 10 to 150 feet tall.
Dang.
Each obelisk is levitated just barely above the ground and facing geodetic north. Though most of them reside in remote fields and deserts, they have also been found floating above the ocean within the vicinity of the Bermuda Triangle and even of the Moon. They are moving just ever so slightly and progress approximately 2 inches forward a year. These obelisks are enlightened in the infinitely vast secrets of the universe and are constantly vocalizing the excess information as a means of waste to counteract the overwhelming intake of knowledge. Though currently enclosed and monitored by government entities, many people had wandered into these locations prior claiming to be following the sound of angelic singing. This alluring hum emanating from these obelisks induces a massive increase in general intelligence in subjects listening. Folklore often refers to the frequency as the song of the divine contour. Each obelisk's biological elements are unraveled thousands of feet into the sky to make a metaphysical connection from Earth to the universe. It is assumed this is a form of knowledge worship, an attempt to make a mortal sacrifice for an immortal honor. Fun fact. These organs are confirmed to be those of the humans and other biological matter that were absorbed after enlightenment.
Oh, jeez.
Upon perceiving the words spoken by the obelisks or entering into close proximity with them, the human brain either spontaneously expands and combusts or receives an ability to comprehend the sacred information. Talk about being open-minded. Whenever a subject is able to comprehend this knowledge, they are biologically absorbed into the obelisk, becoming wholly unified with the being.
Ooh.
It is not entirely understood how these anomalies were brought into existence, but they seem to be tears in the fabric of reality akin to black holes. Many speculate that these rifts were opened by ancient giants who were dissatisfied with a lack of Earth's knowledge. Many unnaturally large humanoid skeletons have been found underground adjacent to obelisk sites, further supporting this idea. When the obelisks made their debut on Earth, they aided in the construction of the pyramids of Giza by bestowing digestible levels of sacred knowledge onto Egyptian pharaoh Khufu after he was lured into the desert by their beckoning chords. This knowledge would help Khufu rationalize a possible blueprint and method for building these grand tombs, and they were made into the shapes of pyramids as a tribute to the divine structures. All in all, these obelisks may seem malevolent, but it's important to remember that no physical pain could ever outweigh the agony of infinite knowledge.
Wow, interesting. These creatures, the obelisks, they remind me of Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. And that movie's very hard in certain aspects to understand, but there was obelisks all over the world. There was obelisks in certain places in the world, and these obelisks contain knowledge in the movie. And at the end of the movie, Dave, one of the main characters, David Bowman, that's his name. David Bowman, as he becomes an old man after traveling through like a hyperspace-like state, he ends up touching one of these obelisks and becoming this weird giant baby thing that holds like all the knowledge of the universe or whatever. And then, of course, the Odyssey series goes on. I think there's like 2002 and 2003 or something like that. I know there was like either one or two movies after that, and I never watched them. But that's just the ending of the first one. He becomes like a being of infinite knowledge. Kind of odd how it ends, kind of weird, but it just reminds me of that for some weird reason. They're weird looking.
Now, looks like our time here may be almost up.
Okay.
But before you go, it's time for a bonus oddity.
Let's go, bonus creature. Philbus. What the hell's a Philbus?
This is Philbus. It is not known where Philbus comes from or why he is here, but there have been a number of people who, after consuming media depicting Philbus, have felt the overwhelming compulsion to practice Philbism. Philbism is a political and somewhat religious ideology, which centers around a belief that building/consuming chairs and other wooden furniture is honoring Philbus' great sacrifice. It is not clear what this sacrifice is or what it refers to. Attributes and practices of Philbism include learning to build chairs, learning to properly digest chairs, promoting/discussing chair consumption on obscure internet forums, praising the fictional political candidate known as Philbus, who is said to advocate for making furniture consumption a socially accepted and widespread practice. There are so many wonderful things about Philbism. Consume the body of Philbus and become one with many others today. It's a great decision. Just eat your chair to get started. Any mention of Philbism and
Just eat your chair to get started. Oh my goodness. I swear, if there is a news story that ever comes out about someone eating a wooden chair, I'm gonna end myself that day. Because, I mean, I know this is all meant to be fictional, and Dr. Nowhere is doing a really great job of making something very funny and fictional, even though to a lot of people it may be really creepy. See, it doesn't bother me. I find it really inventive, really creative, and I like stuff like this because it's weird and it's meant to be. But you can't. But because of the world and reality that we live in, it wouldn't surprise me. That's all I'm saying. It wouldn't surprise me if I heard a story of some dude eating a wooden chair just because why not? I'm just saying.
Collaboration on the subject will eventually result in it becoming a sponsorship or advertisement of sorts. We have no idea how to avoid this, sorry. All Philbists will deny the existence of Philbism when directly questioned about it.
Okay.
This video was not in any way sponsored by Philbism. This is for educational purposes only. Philbism does not even exist. You can sign up for Philbism certification.
What the world? Sign for Philbism certification. Eat your chair. What did it say? Insane or viral material detected? Okay.
Here, the body of Philbus today. How would you look at the clock? It's just about time for us to part ways.
A brief cleansing process will now commence. This purely auditory procedure will ensure you do not come away from this with any ailments from beyond contracted during your viewing experience.
Okay.
Please close your eyes and do not open them until told to do so.
Okay. with them closed. They really thought I was going to close my eyes for this.
You may now open your eyes. Thank you for complying. Thank you for attending Dr. Nowhere's Office of Wonders. We hope that you enjoyed your stay.
Yes, I did. I enjoyed my stay. Very much so. Goodbye. We love you. Okay. Well, that's cool. Anyway, that is the end of Dr. Nowhere's The Oddity Compendium. That was really good. Really interesting series. I like how Dr. Nowhere is kind of using this to explain a lot of his creatures that he comes up with. I think that's a really good thing for a creator to do, is like if you make a certain thing or you make weird and crazy, creepy creatures, I think there's a total... It's really cool to invent a way to, show people like, oh, these are the creatures I've made, but here's what they do in the universe that I created as well, Here's how they work. And like explaining that to people, because there's a lot of people who like, they see like art like Dr. Nowhere does online, and they get confused. I've seen some people, I've even shown it to some people, and they're like, well, how does this character work? Like, what do they do? And I like how Dr. Nowhere's like approaching this, how he's explaining his creatures, or these oddities as he calls them, in the canonicity of his own universe through his videos. And I really like his, I don't know what the name of the character is, but I really like the character who does the little intro or whatever. But yeah, that's really all I can say. Anyway, interesting video. I certainly enjoyed it. But unfortunately, guys, that is all the time that I have today for this video. So please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications for when I upload new videos. And make sure to follow my social media links down in the description below to join the Ghoul Renegade. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!